Hi, good morning, everyone. I want to share about compassion this morning because I wrote an article about this as well, and I will give you the link to check out the article in a short while. In the meantime, I want to share about what compassion is. Now, most of the time when we think about compassion, we think of religious figures that are who are women, who are motherly, and we think of compassion as that. But compassion is more than that. Compassion is a superpower. Compassion is strength. It's really quite a powerful energy. It is not soft, right? It is so powerful that it is able to withstand whatever comes its way. So it's got power, it's got wisdom, it's got lots of light, right? So how do we then exercise compassion? Now, most people know what it is like to be empathetic, and it's now like the buzzword, right? Everybody talks about being an empath, being empathetic. Now, there's a very big difference to in the frequencies of empathetic being empathetic and being compassionate, right? They're two very different frequencies. Compassion is a much higher vibration, and it is a superpower, it's a superhuman ability. Whereas being empathetic still makes you very human, and that your experience is totally on a very, shall we say, horizontal level. That means you connect with the human emotions on a very horizontal level. But when you exercise compassion, it comes from a much higher vibrational frequency. And that energy is not just horizontal, that energy is like, it's like huge. It comes from the heart, and it encompasses not just the human experience, but the divine, the spiritual experiences. So the energy is much more encompassing and much more embracing. And so if you practice compassion, and if you truly have compassion within your heart, your aura emanates, right? You have such a huge aura that whoever walks or sits in your energy, in your aura, they experience healing, they experience a sense of peace. But when you are empathetic, it's quite different. You become quite sensitive to other people's emotions, people's energies, and sometimes, if you're not an empowered empath, what will become of you is that you become victimized by other people's energies. Now, if you look at the popular culture of spirituality these days, a lot of people talk about, being an empath, being empathetic, is as if it's very fashionable, right? But what many do not realize is that level of connection that they have with someone, being empathetic, can victimize them if they have not worked on their shadow self, if they have not looked at their own shadow self. So, in a sense, compassion is a quality that has to be earned. You cannot just exercise compassion without going through the difficulties, without going through the journey of looking at your shadow. So going to your shadow means looking at parts of self you do not like, looking at all of your wounds, looking at parts of self that is still in the dark and in the shadow, and you do not know how it may be sabotaging you at every aspect of your life. So that's the shadow. Shadow is neither good nor bad. Shadow is just hidden, right? The shadow parts of self can be so hidden that it has its own special agenda. When it has its own special agenda, what's going to happen is it's going to control and dictate the things you say, the things you do, the decisions you make. And all the while, you're just projecting your shadow onto someone else. Now, if you have not gone through into the depths of your shadow and worked through the shadow, then your access to compassion will not be as deep, will not be as emanating. You will not have the ability to stand in the strength of compassion. So compassion is not a soft energy. It's not motherly care and motherly love. Now I'm going to read this part to you, which I wrote this morning about compassion. And what I said here, I'm going to send you the link to the article in a short while. What I said here is that compassion is a superpower, and that if you can live, breathe, eat, feel from compassion, your energy can have two effects. It can repel people. It gets very confusing for some people, or it can magnetize them, right? So there are two ways in which this compassion can go. So how does it repel people? Why does it become so confusing for them? Because your compassionate light is so powerful. There's so much strength in that compassionate light that comes from your heart that it's going to cast a shadow on people. It will highlight their shadow selves. And so then they may turn around and demonize you. They may turn around and fight you, but in fact they are fighting against their own shadow. All right? And so when you come from compassion, most of the time, if you have been to the depths of your own shadow, you would understand someone else and what they're going through. And that understanding gives you the capacity to give them what they need versus what they want. Right? So in my article, I wrote about, how you can, if you come from compassion, right? 5 people can ask you the same question and you have 5 different answers to these 5 different people. So the untrained mind and to the untrained heart, they may look at you and say, why are you being so inconsistent in your reply? You're not being inconsistent. You're looking at each individual and giving them the answer that they need, not necessarily what they want. When you give them what they need, what will happen is your answer can crack them open within their minds and within their hearts. And when you're able to crack them open, and this is where they're able to transform. And so then you may look like you are inconsistent. You're not giving the same answers to everybody. Why are your answers so different for 5 different people, right? So, but that's what compassion does. Compassion has that power to stand in strength and to appear inconsistent to others, and others may question your authenticity, but you are still fine because you have the strength and love of compassion. Now that love becomes a universal love. It's not a love where you crave, on a personal level where you feel like you need other people's approval. You do what is needed. You do not need the approval of others. All right. So in my article, I also have a word of caution there about people who are, who want to serve in this capacity. They want to serve from a heart of compassion and they want to go out there and serve. But my word of caution is not to jump in and to serve in this capacity if you have not gone into the depths of your shadow. Because just like a tree, if you have not gone down deep, you do not have roots that really go down deep, you're not going to be able to withstand. You're going to fall. All right? So be very careful there. As much as you have an enthusiasm to want to come from a position of compassion, to serve, and to want, to help others to heal, you must do your homework. It doesn't come for free. Compassion, in a sense, has to be earned. You need to be able to earn, to stand in that power of compassion in order to assist, or else you will not be able to sustain it. You will fall quite easily. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, so what if you know that you're an empath, and how do you then move to the higher vibrational frequency of compassion? If you know that you are an empath, you're very empathetic, your next step is to really become an empowered empath. And that is where you become less and less victimized by your ability to feel other people's pain. The idea is, the idea of being empathetic is not to be victimized by other people's energies, is to be able to be empowered so that you can truly, eventually assist them, right? You cannot assist them when you are still in pain. You cannot assist them while you're still victimized by other people's energies. You have to stand in that power, and that power can only come from compassion, which is that next step after you become an empowered empath. All right. So I hope that has, that message resonates with you, and maybe you have some questions. Those of you who are watching this live with me, feel free to post your questions here in the comment section. Now, if you're watching this as a recording on whatever platform, social media platform you're watching this on, I invite you to ask questions as well, and I will get back to you. Just put your question in the comment section, and I will, when I see the questions, I will definitely respond back to you. Okay, so questions, anyone? Let me just reload this so that I can see your comments. I'm not able to see some. Oh, okay. Some people have said hello. Hi. Hello, Laura Lee. Hello, Diana. Hello, Scott. And it's afternoon for some of you. Right now, it's Monday morning in Singapore. It's 8:07 a.m. And yeah, it's Monday here. So I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Let me just reload and let's see. Oops, I've lost you there. Where is my... Okay. Okay. So please feel free to ask your questions another time if you want to, watch this again and you have some questions you may have about compassion and how compassion is a superpower. And I will see all of you again soon. Bye for now, and God bless you.